Gaming news of the week. I somehow just started this series, but I missed week 2. Fuck it. We gonna act like that didn't happen. Episode 2, let's go. I'm not gonna waste y'all time. We're gonna try to get y'all in and out of here in 20 minutes. I'm gonna tell y'all what happened in the gaming industry in the last week or so. Well, this current week, as well as tell y'all what games are coming out next week. Now, however, since we missed last week, maybe I'll show y'all some of the games that maybe released last week. Anyway, here we go. First things first, MindsEye. Your game is ass as fuck. I ain't never disrespect games in the title like I did all series long. I wanted to make sure that I expressed to y'all fully in every capacity that game is the rim of that ass. It is as bad as people say. Seriously, it was a scam, $70. Anyway, somehow the free version of MindsEye is less popular than the paid one. Yes, because the free version is 4 months older than the paid version, and everybody now knows for the last 4 months that this is one of the worst games in this entire generation. And when I say that, I mean that sincerely. We're talking about a big budget game worth $70. This is one of the worst games that this PS5 Xbox Series X generation has endured. So they decided that they were going to try to see if they could get people to play the game by having a free full trial. It's called the starter pack. It lets you play some of the game for free. Some of the game don't make sense because it wasn't a complete game. It was some of the game for 70. It was the same. You know what? I don't want to go on too many mini rants because I'm trying to get y'all in and out in a relatively good amount of time. But they announced that the MindsEye starter pack peaked at 32 players. Somebody on YouTube right now got 5,000 subscribers. They go live and they have 200 people. You know what I mean? 100 people, 50 people. 32 players? You should pay us for playing that. Ain't nothing you could do for this game. Story was cool. Game was garbage though, man. They actually hit 40 concurrent players for the first time since July, at the end of November, but even that tiny success, they disrespected. They playing with people. You call that a tiny success? Are these? The game broke the 40 mark. I would be too embarrassed to even say. I wouldn't have even released these numbers. I'd have quietly took my game off Steam and just moved to the next project like nothing happened. That's me though. 3 days before the starter pack was released, the game hitting 40 current players was likely due to the 50% price cut it received ahead of Black Friday. They ain't had no choice. Okay. And your PC, you need to have 5 graphics cards for the game not to lag. Anyway, that was the first thing. MindsEye. Anybody play MindsEye in the comment section? What you think of the game? I know somebody out there, unfortunately, is a contrarian who likes this whole ass game. With all due disrespect, I did platinum. Moving on. Next up, this is the more unfortunate, annoying news. Is sure y'all been hearing about the RAM. The price of RAM has gotten outrageous. I mean, ever since the COVID period, the cost of everything went up because of supply chain issues, as well as price gougers and botters. And it just seems as though the prices of nothing has come back down to what it was pre-COVID. People paying $100 for haircuts and shit. It's insane. So with this going on right now, on top of what we already experienced over the COVID life, basically it's going to raise the cost of all the hardware, that GPUs, that could even be new consoles, current consoles. This is part of the reason why the prices of consoles, specifically more recently, Xboxes have gone up. I believe PlayStation's gone up as well, but Xbox, and it be prepared for more price increases. And I highlighted some of the stuff on articles just so you guys can see it. So I'll go ahead and read this to you guys. But one of the bigger reasons why manufacturers will ultimately need to hike prices of products involving memory is that RAM producers like Samsung, so on and so forth, have catered to what? Hold on, let me ring the bell. The AI. Here we go. So they decided to put profitability over everything else, which is why I don't know why people get in bed as far as glazing companies, because they don't care about you, bitch. They're here to get in them pockets, man. You're a resource, a number, okay? We're not going to forget when one of those companies got caught backdooring GPUs a few years ago. You know, like keep keep enjoying these companies and acting like they've raised you and done a lot for you when all they do is run in your pockets and disrespect you as a man and other. Well, whatever though. The report claims that gamers should factor in a 20% price hike, which would occur across all next-gen products, aligning with rumors surrounding rising GPU prices. There was a time, boys, especially now, PCs it's become so much more accessible. Part of that reason is that the PC platform has done a good job of catering to oncoming console players, making things more compatible. You know, even things down to as simple as controller support. Things that would make people who are console people more comfortable moving over. And not only that, PC fucking all y'all bitches. They getting all y'all exclusives. The only people that's holding on for life is Nintendo. Nintendo end up on that PC, brother. It's over with. They get everything. Yeah, you might wait a year or two. But if you got a real backlog, a lot of people patient enough to wait that year or two before that game from PlayStation comes up, whenever it comes up, or the Xbox Day 1 stuff shows up. But you get what I'm saying. But either way, the days of people building $800 PCs, I don't know if we ever gonna see that. You build a goddamn $800 PC in my face, I'm already knowing you can't run MindsEye. Moving on. Oh, what I do? Ooh, what is this? Sorry about that. In other news, Destiny 3 is in extremely early development according to Bungie leakers. We don't care. I'm not saying Destiny don't have fans. I said Destiny. I'm saying when stuff is in extremely early development and it's not a game that nobody's expecting, we don't really care like that, because who knows when this game is coming out. Now, if they were to somehow mention, I don't know, in NFL Street 4 or something, then we would kind of get a little excited, because it's been years since we seen something like that. Destiny 3 is a game I expected to come out, but I'm gonna be honest, is competitive live service games are people see what Arc Raiders is doing. You ain't Arc Raiders, bro. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Y'all think y'all gonna come in here and do Arc Raider shit? You're not doing Arc Raider stuff. You're not. If I put 100 live service games in a room, how many of those can do what Arc Raiders is doing? 1, 2, maybe. The other 98 of y'all is out of here. Destiny 3. I know Destiny 2, one of the that Bungie acquisition, I don't even know what that didn't work out at all, Sony. Y'all took major L's. But anyway, 2 Bungie leakers have come out publicly to say Bungie has begun working on Destiny 3. The first to do so was Bungie_leaks, a former leaker who stopped posting leaks to avoid legal trouble, which y'all know is coming. If you're a leaker or you're a person who has information that you give that you're not supposed to, they will come after you. If you make fan games, if you resurrect old games and all that, these companies is not playing, unfortunately. Some whole ass shit, but that's what they do. Anyway, a couple weeks ago, Bungie owner Sony announced a $204 million impairment loss caused by lower than expected Destiny 2 sales. Lower than expected on whose behalf? Because I don't think anybody watching this video is surprised that Destiny 2 lost $20 million. Okay, you gotta, you know, when you live service, I'm gonna say this before we move on, live service is extremely competitive. If you don't make games with an extreme roadmap and tons of content, great in-game and all that stuff, you're wasting your time. Y'all can't, what they do, some of these companies, I'm not accusing Bungie of this, I don't know, but a lot of these live service companies come in, they test the waters. I'm gonna put the game out, I'm gonna see if people like it, then I'm gonna do my road. No, you're not gonna do that, bitch. You're gonna do that out in the front, because once you lose your player base to another live service game, they may not come back. You know who knows all about that? Your boys over at Ubisoft. Speaking of Ubisoft, here we go. All right, Ubisoft is one of the companies where it just feels like no news is good news, my boy. It's either not good news or funny news. You know what I mean? Far Cry series for TV ordered by FX. So here we go. You know, the media industry, the entertainment. No, Slicky, relax, bro. Relax, please. The entertainment industry, who they can't help but try to get in on the cash in on the video game stuff outside of the actual gaming itself. I know y'all remember there was a time where all the video game movies, with some exception, were pretty ass. There weren't really many TV shows, but we've gone from that to so many other ways that video games have been turned into shows, animation, movies, and all that, that now we have Far Cry on FX. All right, well, I'm gonna get to Ubisoft a little bit more in a minute, but anyway, they've placed a series order for an anthology TV show based on the Ubisoft Far Cry series. Just like the games that inspired it, each session of the limited series will feature a new setting and cast of characters. Now I'm gonna check it out. We had Twisted Metal, we had Witcher, we have. I mean, there's time. Where do we start? There's so many. It'll stream on Hulu in the US and Disney Plus internationally. He looks just like somebody, and I don't know who it is right now. It's escaping me. Anyhow, so we're still talking about Ubisoft and TV shows, and here we go. Ubisoft with another one. Assassin's Creed Netflix show cast Toby Wallace. They greenlit this officially June or July of 2025, this past summer. So Ubisoft, bro, we ain't forgot about some of the shit you was saying. We don't trust you because y'all tell us, you try to gaslight us with y'all outrageous expectations, saying that people don't want to play single player games and all that stuff, and you want to focus on having games that are live service that people play forever. But like, how'd that go for you? Hyperscape, X-Defiant, Skull and Buns. But we also, I didn't forget about that Assassin's Creed movie, boys. At Ubisoft, I went to the theater to see that movie. Okay, and I did a whole rant on a podcast years ago about this because he was sitting on that roof at the end of the game. You had or that movie. He was on that roof. But now you have a TV show. You have 2 TV shows coming. And you had, I think I reported in the first episode of the Gaming Week News of the Week that you had like 10 Assassin's Creed games playing before 2031. All I'm saying is, when I see stuff that is said by the heads of Ubisoft, and then I see decisions made, it is counter to what you're saying. Okay, we're not gonna let y'all gaslight us. I'm gonna check these shows out. All right, yo, Slinky, I swear to God, bro. I swear to God. But yeah. So since we're talking about TV shows, Ubisoft, we got to stay here actually. Far Cry 7, and they are saying that they're gonna bring more multiplayer aspects, predominantly pushed so that it can be played for a long time by players. This is courtesy of Vice here. Nobody wants to play Far Cry for a long time. I'm a fan of the Far Cry series, by the way. I really like Far Cry. Peak Far Cry for me was 3, 4. All right, once we start getting into the 5s, Primal was decent. I had fun on there, but 3 and 4 was really my shit. And Blood Dragon. You know what I'm saying? The last one was too long, man. We don't want to play Far Cry for a long time. When y'all really do this game and shit like we do, you have your couple live service games that you enjoy. You know what I mean? But you like to play a game, beat it, get off, and then go to the next one. And you play that one, and you beat that. I don't want to play a game forever. Because if I put 30 games in a room, only 2 of them games might be good enough to play for 50 hours. You talking about playing for a long time? No, we don't want to play Far Cry for a long time. I want to play that bitch, have fun, get off, and go to the next one. Because y'all used to make like 9 games a year. How would it look if I played one of your games for 100 hours? I wouldn't even be able to touch the other ones. But now, I don't even, but they put out 2 games this year. Skull and Bones is one of them bitches, if you want to call that a game. Ubisoft, y'all boys is wilding out. Whatever you're doing is not going to work. So what I would like to see is companies, you take your strengths and you really make that the focal point of your product. I'm not trying to pigeonhole you or anything like that. I'm saying I want that to be what you do the most, and then you start working on some of your other avenues. But you don't take your weaknesses and you try to make that your strength. Ubisoft, y'all been, man, Rainbow Six, all that, can't speak on that, but I'm saying, yeah, y'all got y'all live service that people play. I don't know how Rainbow Six is doing. I've seen people saying it was getting up out of there. But yeah, man, y'all, after, I don't know how many shots they're gonna give, but it really pains me when I see Ubisoft's their list of IPs they have, and they're just sitting there, and we're just never gonna get them. Anyway, Far Cry 7, I will be playing that. Ubisoft is fun to work with because they're easy going. They don't really trip too much. But y'all boys is bugging out. I got 2 TV shows. Can y'all announce a new software game? A new Splinter Cell? No? All right. So speaking of TV shows, here we go. Tomb Raider, Amazon TV show will reinvent the franchise on a massive scale. No, it won't. No, it won't. I love the Tomb Raider, the last trilogy too. That was the most Tomb Raider I ever got to play. I was too broke to play the other games back in the day, so I never got to actually partake in those those games. But that trilogy, I loved it. In fact, one of the years it was my game of the year. Can't remember which one. It was the second one. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I believe. That being said, I don't know how much a TV show is going to massively scale the franchise. I think it'll help, right? I know the Witcher TV show, when that was going on, they had more players playing The Witcher there than they did when Witcher 3 was out, and then Witcher 3 was huge at the time. So I guess people see that and they think that they could do that too. So I hope it works out. But they are casting one of the Stark, Sophie Turner, from Game of Thrones, to play Lara Croft. So we'll see how this works out. I'm looking, it's an Amazon Prime show, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And after the way they did Wheel of Time, I don't know that I trust these people. Anytime I see a show announcement, I want to see that shit on HBO. HBO, they really make sure they put crazy money up for these TV shows and really go. But we'll see what happens. Can y'all announce a new video game? What the fuck is going on when we announce the shows and not video games? Am I bugging, bro? Anyway, so that's happening. By the way, I just want to say before we move on real quick, before we waste too much of y'all time, TV shows, well, live service games are really competitive. TV shows are extremely competitive. It's not like it was when I was a kid where you had to watch what was on the TV at the time it was on. Now we have all the streaming services, and then you have YouTube, you have Twitch, you have Kick, you have all these platforms where all the players and viewership is divided up. So for people, like, to think that they're going to be able to retain viewership from TV watchers is very difficult. There's so much good TV right now, so many good movies, but there's so much good content on all these other platforms, short form, long form. I just think this is really tough. It's one thing to have people watch the premiere and even stick around for the first or half of the first season. It's quite another when you think you're gonna get 2-3 seasons out of the show. It's possible, but it's fucking tough. Maybe they could do it over a Tomb Raider for Amazon, but I seen what you did with the Wheel of Times. Moving on, skill-based matchmaking, Call of Duty. I know y'all have heard this a million times, but all I'm gonna tell y'all is they've made it more prominent. This is courtesy of Xbox. Everybody knew the game plan before they even did this shit. If you didn't know, it's because you, for whatever reason, trust Activision, a company that's been lying to us forever. I can give y'all 2 quick lies going back to 2012 when they had that season pass verbiage that said that we would get access to all content for the season pass. Then they went and they slightly changed it and made it so that we had to buy the camos separately. Then how about Call of Duty Ghosts when they said the game was on a brand new next-gen engine? Then a couple days later they lied and said, oh, we didn't mean that. We meant it was on a heavily modified engine. It would take 200 engineers and 2 years to do an engine. And they say we was never gonna get dedicated service. You see what I'm saying? I gotta ask, what is 2K? What is Take-Two Interactive? What has Activision? And what has EA done to gain the trust of so many people when they sit up here and they finesse us all the time? Everybody knew this play. The skill-based matchmaking, the no skill-based matchmaking thing, in my opinion, was used to market the game because of Battlefield or Arc Raider was whooping ass. So they use it as a marketing tool for all the nerds like you and I who even know what skill-based matchmaking is. Most of the player base don't know what that shit is. They're not on the internet. They use that to sell us the game. And then once they got the game out, I knew eventually they was going to say that due to our test that the player base likes skill-based matchmaking. You know they was going to say that. I'm going to tell y'all my stance and then we're going to move on. I want to play against players way better than me, on my level, worse than me, and the rim of the ass. A mixed bag. You mix it up. Whoever I get, I get. Put the game out. Let me get in the lobby. Get the fuck out the way. Very simple. Need y'all, we don't need y'all babysitting players. That's a new concept, and it's outrageous. But I knew this was coming. Called a rug pull, boys. So they've moved what was called the standard playlist, which was never whatever. They're playing with words. They say it was minimal skill-based matchmaking, and if you played the game, once you whoop the ass of the other team, they're going to disband you from the lobby at the end anyway. And come Christmas, you're not going to see any level 1 players in the game. That's how you know. But they basically moved what is from the second tab, which was the standard playlist, which has the SBMM, to the first tab. So any player who's not in the on the internet and knows what's going on, they're just going to click standard. You're going to see more players just use a standard. There's going to be less players in open. And eventually, as that comes in, they're going to say, well, more players like standard. So they're setting up a system where more players, click on standard, whether they know it or not. Maybe not because they want that or they understand it. But I digress, boys. Take with that what you will. Call of Duty, they're usually the first to do stuff, so this is why you're going to see other games follow suit. You see 2K started doing it, whatever. And then it's not skill based, it's engagement based, but we don't even need to go in there. Rant over. I just wanted to inform y'all that you're going to slowly, if you're on Black Ops 7, anything's better than skill based. Anything's better than matchmaking from the last 2, 3, 4 CODs, by the way. Even though there's some SBMM going on, you're not going to tell me it's as bad as Black Ops 6, but it is what it is. I do okay on COD. Shut your mouth. Oh, anybody excited? I got something for you. Def Jam Fight for NY fans, Def Jam Vendetta fans, I'm here to talk to you. Smile, big as fuck. They revealed, Republic Records unveils a game called OnlyHands, a new hip hop fighting game. Now, I want to go ahead and take the air out of all y'all excitement balloons because it is a mobile game. It's supposed to be, they're lying. This is a lie. Hold on, let me highlight this. Hope you guys don't mind that I have a highlighter here for you guys. When I closed the window, I think it got rid of it. But here we go. The label announced a strategic partnership with developer Nothing Projects Interactive to launch OnlyHands, a real-time mobile fighting game that blends music, combat, and pop culture in a format many are already calling the spiritual successor to Def Jam. You're lying. Who are these people that's calling it the spiritual successor to Def Jam Fight for NY and it's a mobile game? Who's saying that? Who's saying that? A game that we loved on console, when the iteration comes out like 20 years later and it's on mobile, I'm gonna call it spiritual. Nobody's doing it. All right, there's a little trailer down here. Y'all wanna watch it? Shout out to Sauce Walker. He's really the only person I've seen with this. I think he's involved in a project in a major way. I don't have all the information, but let's go ahead and just take a glance at this little trailer here. Oh, yeah. MindsEye. They actually have rap like, because they don't have the rights to a lot of the artists.
I want to take you to this place I found.
That's enough, but Real Hands will be thrown, available first quarter of 2026 on PC and all mobile platforms. Yeah, this is gonna be like the Joe Montana of Def Jam Fight for NY's successors. Spiritual successors, sometimes they do work out, and sometimes they are very similar to the original project, which I appreciate. But a lot of times when I hear spiritual successor now, because of the way the industry is, I don't trust it. Shout out to Complex Magazine for this article here. Moving on. Last thing. Sorry, y'all. It's late. Dead Rising, a new Dead Rising game is reportedly in development. Stars Frank West and is set in the giant Hollywood movie lot. I am a Dead Rising fan. I really love Dead Rising 3. That was my first one. 4 was okay, but it was kind of fun. Simply because they took the strangers and freaks out, which was like the fun stuff. Those are little mini boss. They were all cool. They had their own little personalities. Instead of that, they just put like juiced up regular zombies, and I was an L. But as far as the gameplay goes, I've never played a game like Dead Rising where you can just constantly make all these cool weapons just based off of, like, you can take a rubber duck and a pair of gloves and boom, put it together. You can make nukes, all kind of stuff. You just kill zombies. Super fucking fun. And I felt like with that 4th game, they just lost something. But Capcom has had a phenomenal job. They had a major resurgence over the last, 8 years plus or something like that. So I do think that they come back and give people the kind of Dead Rising that we're looking for. I'm not really sure about the canon of the story, so there's a lot I couldn't tell you about the story. I just really enjoyed the gameplay, so that's really what did it for me. But they had success with the Dead Rising remaster, and I've always told you guys that remasters for games that they're unsure about is a way for them to test the waters to see if the fan base is actually interested. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy did very well. Crash Bandicoot 4 did not, unfortunately, even though that's the best Crash Bandicoot in my opinion. That level design paired up with all the new mechanics, it was the best, but people didn't buy it. So sometimes it backfires a little bit, but it's a way for them to actually gauge fan interest. I don't like the fact that they do it. in lieu of a sequel, but there's nothing I can do. At least we're getting something. But it's supposed to be all original, and that's kind of all I have. I don't know when they greenlit or anything like that. Oh, I don't see nothing here but titties. Moving on. Lastly, trying to get y'all out of here. We are 25 minutes in, cutting it kind of close. I wanted to get y'all out here in 20, but it's fine. Here are the games coming out here for the next week or so through what is that, from the 7th through the 14th. These are the ones that stick out. I highlighted some of the ones that came out last week because I didn't get to do this episode. Marvel Cosmic Invasions for old heads who like games that look like they're still on the Sega. That's me. Assassin's Creed Shadows for Nintendo Switch 2 for anybody that's interested. You don't really hear much about this game anymore after it came out, and that's the nature of a lot of single player games. But I also don't think it got nominated for much. It wasn't a bad game. It wasn't a phenomenal game. I just think the game was too long, which seems to be Ubisoft's problem. It's not a creativity and execution issue. It's just the games are just filled with like so much stuff that I think it ruins the experience. Anyway, Metroid Prime 4, which Flip messaged me and asked me if I played it. I think I'm actually gonna get this. I still haven't opened up my Switch 2. I'm gonna do a live stream on that. December 4th, Octopath Traveler 0. This is gonna be one of those games that this fan base really loves this, just like Hollow Knight. I've never heard anything but great things about Octopath Traveler, so this is out as of December 4th. Looks like on every single platform that most people probably have, which is good. Sonic Racing Crossworlds is finally hitting the Nintendo Switch. And then lastly, Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming to PlayStation on December 8th. I've seen stuff about Skate Story, but I gotta look more into this. Yakuza, I'll forever love this franchise. And never played Farming Simulator, Warhammer, and this is for the next episode. But let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all comment below. I was halfway being a smart ass throughout the episode, which I will continue to do. We're going to keep this kind of light. I don't need to do lots of edits on here. I do that for the other stuff. So make sure y'all subscribe. I'll holla at y'all boys later. I do have 2 more game reviews coming out for both Ghost of Yotei and Death Stranding 2, as well as we're going to finish WWE. We're going to finish Midnight Club, Barnyard, and whatever else we just playing. I have 2 polls for games that y'all might want to vote on, but y'all might want to do that before I hurry up and pick one of them bitches. But until next time, y'all ugly as shit. See y'all on the next Gaming News. By the way, GMG is coming back, so delete that motherfucking comment. Just as I finished this video, breaking news, Netflix is in the process of acquiring Warner Brothers. More info on that next week once we figure out what the hell's going on. But don't forget all the stuff that Warner Brothers owns, especially with the gaming division. We'll see y'all.